Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killerrodan. So I just figured I'd upload something on my original channel because I realized it's been almost a week. Yes, I know my uploading schedule is absolute shit on this channel, so I'm just trying to upload some here. And it's going to involve Grand Theft Auto, the one that's coming out. Yeah, the one that's been stuck in development limbo for like fucking forever. So I just thought I'd just cover this, and yeah, I just do that. Yeah, just I mean, there's been, I guess, quite a few controversies surrounding this game and whatnot. I mean, this is not gonna be the only thing, of course. Some people might be thinking, oh, maybe the cover art is too soft, or there's not enough teeth, or I don't know, whatever. There's like numerous controversies surrounding this game, which is nothing new because when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, there's always gonna be some kind of controversy. So what else is new, right? And another thing, I will post a link down below for my second channel because, for one, my uploads are way more frequent on my second channel. And I will post a link down below for Air Force as well if you're interested in some gaming stuff. Both links for both channels will be posted down in the description box below. So let's get straight to that point. One thing I keep hearing about is having a black woman on the cover in a swimsuit. Or at least some variant version of the picture, I guess, or whatever, I guess. And though some racist fans would want to tweak this up and have your blonde woman instead. Like, come on, people. This is what 2026, right? So you think we will have more of an accepting society by now? Which, yes, in a lot of ways we do compared to like way back when, sure, but it still needs a lot of work. This is ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, nothing against having blonde women in the game or on the covers. I got no issue with that. But what I do have an issue with is that people getting triggered over having a black woman on the cover in a swimsuit. At least, even if it's not on the cover, you just do some artwork on it. Like, okay, there's some artwork where she's in a swimsuit and whatnot. I'm like over here thinking, this is Grand Theft Auto. So Grand Theft Auto always had women in swimsuits. They had women with black hair. They had women with this and that kind of body. They had women before with a tan skin color before. So okay, there's a woman, and at least even if it's not on the cover art, but there's artwork, with a woman that's has dark skin, like really dark skin. So what? And that's like a primary the focus. That's like the main thing I want to focus upon that. I mean, there's other things, obviously, of course, but this is the primary focus because, like, I mean, yes, I know this is a very sensitive topic here, and yes, you should tackle this with sensitivity, of course, and whatnot. But basically, that's one of many things that's surrounding this particular game. And like I just said a moment ago, controversy is nothing new with Grand Theft Auto. It happens in one shape or form, of course. It may be because of swearing, because of the drugs, because of the violence, blah 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 blah. Maybe because of the gangsters. The stories are focused on the bad guys, blah 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 blah. There's always something a lot of people always picking on. And I know that's not to dismiss the racism. Racism should never be accepted in any shape or form. Of course not. But I mean, yes, obviously you're gonna get some bigots in the fan base. It's not just Gun Tavada, it's just literally every fan base out there. You can be literally any fan base you can think of. Every single fan base will unfortunately will have a bigot, a group of bigots, I should say. So this is not gonna be like a tirade against Grand Theft Auto because unfortunately misinformation and bigotry will exist in every single fan base if it's big enough, I guess. But even the smaller fan base is still gonna exist to some various extent. And no, that's not to excuse anything at all. So, okay, they want some artwork like this. Like, so what? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Okay, they trying to make it look attractive. They're trying to make it look pretty and all that. Like, ooh la la. That's fine. I see nothing wrong with that. Because, like I said before, Grand Theft Auto is known for having a specific type of women with a specific type of body in various colors, of course. Beauty does come in all shapes and colors, in all shapes and sizes. So there's nothing inherently wrong with that. If anything, it's its own brand. Really think about it. Of course, it's going to have an attractive woman on here. So what's the issue exactly? But I don't know. According to some of these fans, I guess it's just the fact that she has a much darker shade of color. That's a controversy, apparently. Just that. You realize other people do exist, right? Oh boy, could you imagine if we had an Indian woman? When I mean, when I say Indian, I mean Indian, not native Indian. Even though you could choose one of them too, because both Indians do have dark skin color as well. Would you complain then? I don't know, probably. But it's just, I mean, I don't need to. Do I really have to make an entire video where explain to you racism is completely wrong? Oh no, a character in a game that has a darker shade of color than I do. Oh no, the world is ending. This is bullshit. It's completely and utter bullshit. Like, so what? Like I was saying a moment ago, I don't see anything wrong with this whatsoever. I mean, okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be the cover, or just the fact that artwork like this exists surrounding GTA. Like, you kidding me, right? You got nothing else going on in your life, and you want to complain about this. This is going to be the topic at hand. You want to talk. These people want to talk about this. Like, you got nothing else, right? You just, if in other words, this tells me that you're bored. You're complaining another bored. This is the one thing you want to focus the entire time. How about instead of focusing your energy on this, how about do something actually productive in life? There's plenty of other things you can do instead. How about educate yourself or something about Africa, Jamaica, what have you? I don't know, whatever. There's plenty of things you can put your energy into than this. There's so much you can do and just complain about this. This makes my head hurt. Right? This makes my head hurt because this just yeah. Okay, just okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, did you know? By the way, did you know that the modern the traffic signals was invented by a black man? You realize that, right? The traffic signs were invented by a black person. So in that case, does that mean you should not pay attention to that at all? Let me see what else. What else? How about refrigerated trucks? That was invented by a black person. Don't use that. Oh, what about the fact that home security systems, or at least a version of them, and whatnot? Yeah, home security systems were invented by a black person. Don't use that either in that regard, right? Don't use that at all. Oh, my head, ow, my head, owie, my head. It's just so stupid. You just look up yourself. Just look all this information yourself. There's plenty of stuff out there that were invented by black people. Just don't use them in that case. All right, if that happens, it would make life a lot more difficult for you, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, that would just make too much sense, would it? That would make too much sense when you think about it. But okay, whatever. I don't get into this. I don't stand the hatred on against this certain group of people. Like I don't get this. This is you can look into stuff maybe like computer graphics and whatnot, like certain things that were done. Those like so many black inventors that made daily life so much easier. There was a truckload of that. Like so many individuals you probably never heard of that made like the most what seems like the most mundane thing much easier. I mean, you're accustomed to it now, sure, but back then y people weren't accustomed to it. Like the most, if anybody, and I do mean everyone, anyone that gets triggered over somebody that has a different skin tone than the other deserved to be ridiculed, deserved to be mocked at. That's for a fact. And honestly, I do think that this artwork is pretty nice. Looks really nice, really, when you think about it. I like the colors, schemes in the background, and all that. Her hair, the glasses. I like all of it. The entire thing looks really nice. I personally like the artwork. I thought it's very artistically made. Everything looks proportionate. Nothing looks exaggerated or anything and whatnot. So there was that. And what also gets me is that you realize that one of these games did have a black man character, right? One of the games did have that. So, what, you're just going to avoid that one then? I don't know. People like this, I don't understand. I don't understand people like this at all. Like I said, did one of these games have one of them as the main character? Yeah. So, like I just said, like I just asked, you're just gonna avoid that one then? You're just not gonna pay attention to answering the series? So, like, this is so stupid. It is so stupid. And well, whatever. It's just so dumb. I'll just flat ignore it. Is that what you're gonna do? So I don't get these people. People like this, I can't. I don't stand them. Matter of fact, maybe I don't want to stand because what they're doing and saying like this reaction is ridiculous. And when it comes to controversy, I know controversy. If you want to do like a more broader sense, controversy is nothing new to the medium. You know, I want to say like when it comes to Mortal Kombat being too violent, or if the Del Live games for being too sexualized, apparently, and like the whole controversy towards the medium is nothing new. I mean, towards Grand Theft Auto, like I said, it's nothing new, but towards a wider extent, is nothing. There's like so many things I can talk about. I mean, I talked about something similar before, but that was like ages ago, and I do mean ages ago. So I've talked about this kind of thing before. I mean, not this exact thing. You know, whole racism thing. It's not to this extent, but I've talked about controversy in video games before. But it's not something I would. It's not something I would often talk about because I just think it's stupid. Controversy as a whole. This kind of controversy is stupid. Like, okay, why does this have to be a thing? I don't know. I don't understand why this has to be a thing. And that aside, when you think about it, racism is a sensitive subject matter. It's a really delicate subject matter that has to be done carefully because you can't work all kinds of emotions, of course. And there are people who suffer through trauma because of this, obviously. And yes, obviously, it's unfair. It's unfair that anybody would go through some kind of discrimination just because of the color of the skin. No, it should never be allowed. It should never be accepted in a society like nowadays. Matter of fact, it should never be accepted ever, like in any society at any time period. It should never be accepted and whatnot. It should not be an actual thing. Yet here we are in 2026, and this kind of thing is still a thing. And this is confusing. This is real confusing because this does not have to be a thing at all. But yeah, I just thought I'd just cover this for a moment because for one, like I was keep saying, when it comes to uploading videos on this channel, I really need to upload something. I don't know, so it's just something I guess I just took. This kind of attitude should never be accepted. Absolutely fucking not. Racism should never be accepted ever. The core truth is fairly simple when you think about it. Racism is not just a difference of opinion, it is a system of harm that strips people of dignity, opportunity, and safety. Rejecting it isn't just about being politically correct, it's about defending human worth when you think about it. Why rejecting this kind of thing does matter is, again, like I was saying, human dignity. Everyone deserves equal respect regardless of race, ethnic background, and whatnot. Racism validates that most basic level. And if someone's gonna be an asshole, if someone's gonna be a piece of shit, they're gonna be like that regardless of color, regardless of where you came from, regardless of country. Yes, anyone and everyone is capable from whatever country is capable of being a dickhead. Of course. That kind of thing knows no skin color. It knows no gender. It knows no sexual orientation. If someone's bad, they're bad regardless of any of that. Regardless if they're rich, poor, or somewhere in between. There's also the most obvious thing is that historical harm, of course, because when you think about it, racism has fueled, fueled slavery, segregation, genocide, and ongoing inequality to this very day, unfortunately. But it's a matter of when it comes to health, wealth, uh, justice, outcomes. When you think about it, yes, obviously there's the whole thing with uh, social stability. Of course, communities fractured by race do struggle with trust, safety, and job opportunities when it comes to this kind of growth for everyone. Because business do need to make money when you think about it, and that's true. And this kind of attitude does not help nobody. It helps absolutely no one. Yes, also there's also the personal responsibility when you think about it. Of course, rejecting racism means actively choosing fairness, empathy, and accountability in how we treat each other. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's like the most obvious thing ever, but you'd be surprised. And yes, racism does persist, not just throughout hateful individuals, but also through silence. If somebody does nothing about this hateful thing, you're just as complicit. So when people say nothing and do nothing, it still continues. Harmful things will continue to survive. That's why statements like this I'm talking about doesn't matter. People push the world towards a higher standard if we all work together. So that's definitely something you have to think about, of course. It's something that must be talked about, of course. And yes, there's also the implicit bias when you think about it, of course. And it could be like a set of some kind of attitudes. We should not allow stereotypes get in the way of your perspective. Obviously, this should be definitely a must, of course. And uh, again, you're thinking you be thinking that this kind of thing shouldn't be a thing. Yet here we are. Challenging racism isn't just calling out the extreme moments. Obviously, it's also about reshaping habits, systems, and everyday interactions so these kinds of things can stop reproducing harm. When you think about it, the most effective approaches can work in great ways when it comes to personal, interpersonal, and structural. When you think about it, and if you're biased towards somebody, you can at least learn as much as you can. That's one way to combat racism. I mean, yes, you could do that in one way, of course. You can educate yourself, and former racists have learned their errors of the ways. That does a thing. That can be a good thing. Former racists cannot be racist anymore. That has happened before, and learn the errors of your ways. I think I'll just leave it at that. I know this kind of moved beyond the game itself, game art, what do you want to call it, but it's ridiculous when you think about it. But anyway, that'll be it, folks. So, of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. The next time, see ya. Oh, yeah, later. Ugh, Christ almighty, whatever. Like I said before, folks, the link to my second channel will be down below in the description box, along with Aeroforce as well. Anyway, that's it. See ya.